Hello traders, Sean at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, and the IYT. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. If you like the videos, go to my website, sign up, it's free, or click down here in the bottom right hand corner and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alright guys, daily chart, 88 million on the day, 0.09%. 22 cents in the red. So pretty much volume came in the morning. We actually reached, I think, 25,000 right around 10:30, 11 o'clock, which was very, very surprising. Volume came in, maybe a little distribution, but towards the end of the day, they bounced it up, shorts covered, and here we are again, right at this upper trend line, trying to get above the 246.76 area and confirm. We did close above it today, so let's see next week what it does. But if we didn't have follow through like I've been talking about, areas 250, 255, we get up there, we'll see how it sets up and possible higher prices. If this continues to chop around sideways in a bullish manner, then we'll look for the pop. If it starts to slide, gap fill, moving averages. Bottom line for the bears, this is the line in the sand. If we crack this trend line down here or get out of this channel upwards or downwards, getting above it or below the channel, these are targets down here, 231.27, and again for the upper side, 250 to 255. So we had a nice grind, pretty much what this thing's been doing for a year. Goes up, sideways, goes up, little bit of a chop, gets the puts excited, all the bears, pops above, chops, pops above, chops, pops above. Pretty much the same thing over and over, grinding on light volume, guys. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly chart, we're right there, guys, right on that upper trend line. We talked about that on the daily. We're right there. I'm going to call it close enough for government work. I want to see some follow through next week on the weekly chart and more volume than this, guys. This is Jicky Jack volume going into the weekly close. But we did close above this green bar here, coming off of a consolidation pattern, little pop, little follow through. So we had a little follow through on a weekly basis. Let's continue, see if we're going to get to that 250 to 255 area coming off this. So next week, I want to see a close 248, 249, or even 250 on the Friday close. That will possibly lead us to higher prices. If we chop, then we're waiting for the pattern and then possible to pop. So we're right on that top trend line here. Let's see what we do going into next week. Keep an eye on the volume as well, which is very important. Volume was good today, though, guys. We sold a little bit out of the gate. That's where most of the volume came in. And then towards, your typical 10:30, 11 o'clock disappears. And then towards the end of the day, you get the big last candle, maybe some shorts covering into the weekend, maybe some longs saying, hey, you know what? I'm done. I'm giving up on this one. Good enough for me. So let's go into the daily on the IWM. Volume picked up on this one, too. Not huge, no great shakes, but it picked up. But we had, out of the gate, we were up, slid the rest of the day. We closed pretty much right on the old all-time high, but we did not have follow-through. That's what we were looking for, and we wanted to see a close above this trend line. Still didn't see that. So now we're going to wait for pattern, guys. Let's see if we chop above the MAs and continue to go sideways into next week, maybe into Fridays or the following Monday's close. Not this Monday, but next Monday. We'll go about 8-9 days sideways. Then we'll see if this thing pops. If it gets building some pressure and starting to roll, guys, this thing could definitely go to 145 to 150, and then we'll have to rule that, or we'll have to look at the pattern it's given us and where this thing could possibly go. If it starts to slide on earnings, because the big earnings are coming up next week, the following week, the next couple weeks into a month. These things have bad earnings. This could start to slide. If they have mediocre, I think we'll get more sideways action and then possibly the pop. Again, keep an eye on volume on here. It was okay today, guys. I do like the fact that we did get below this little tail there and we closed. It's a little bit bearish, but overall still above the MA, still in a strong stance. Nothing wrong, but you got to look at stuff like this. Say, a little bit weird. This is a little bit red. It was only 65 cents down or 0.45% on the day, but hey, you got to look at everything, guys. And let's look at the weekly close now. So daily, we're waiting for pattern. Weekly, we had a good, solid bullish pattern. I mean, we came down, came up, going sideways, chopping on the all-time high. Then we got the all-time high here, chopping. We did get above it, but we did not close on the weekly. I want to see a close on the weekly above the pivot high, which was 142.90. Now the new pivot high, of course, is 143.52. We did not close above this one, though, back here. So, again, bullish above all the MAs. This pattern's got to start going, guys, and it's starting to have problems getting up above this this high pivot here. So let's keep an eye on this one next week. Let's see what the weekly close brings, and let's see what kind of a pattern we get on the daily chart. But they're not telling us too much other than you're in this big channel, guys. Everything's in a channel. It's pretty amazing, guys. Goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. We're at the height. Now does it go down? So watch it. We're still above the MAs. Still okay. You know, if you're long, just tighten the stops. If you're short, just be very, very patient. The Qs. Let's go into the daily chart. Qs, not a bad day. 6 cents for 0.04% down. Nothing really, just stalling out. We talked about this thing getting to the top. Let's draw this. Let's draw the old all-time high. So we're still above it. We get above all the MAs. You know, we talked about this. Gap up, continue going. Nice follow through. Now we're stalling at the all-time high, at the old all-time high. We made a new one here. Let's see if we go sideways. Let's see if we kind of fade a little bit, let these MAs curl into price, and then boom, we'll possibly go up. 145 to 150 on this one, like the IWM. That's what we're looking for. So keep an eye on that. Let's watch for pattern. Let's see what happens going into the big ER coming up in the next couple weeks. Yeah, some big boys coming up, guys. That will drive the markets, and I think that's what they're waiting for, guys, is when the market, the volume comes in. But again, who knows? If it stays complacent, all these stocks can continue higher. Let's go to the weekly chart close on the Qs. Yeah, it's like right on top of those all-time highs. 141. Yeah, you're about 30 cents above. So now on the weekly, we got some follow through this week. Let's see some more. Volume was okay even on week to week. I want to see another push. We're still up, sideways, above the MAs on the weekly. Doing okay, guys. It's got to start going. Again, 145 to 150. We get to 150. We'll wait for pattern and then possible higher prices. If this starts to slip, then we'll talk about it basically. But right now, nothing wrong. You have some support at the 20. You got some support at gap fill, some at the 50. You know, then down here around the 113. And ultimately, guys, I really think 107, guys. That's going to be the target. This is the weekly chart. It's not just going to fall right into it, but eventually this will keep curling up, maybe 112, 115 if this keeps going higher. And eventually this will come in and kiss that, and then boom, we'll be buying the dip right there, wherever that lines up. If it lines up with gap fills, even numbers, pivots, they will definitely be taking that trade. That's why I'm saying to everybody, these indexes go down. I'm going to be looking for areas to go long, and we will go long. We will buy the dip, guys. I have no problem, but when we're at all-time highs, I just can't chase up here, guys. I'm going to let them go higher and then possibly short more. So that's what we do with the Qs, with the IWM, just slow and steady, guys. No more than 10% of your total portfolio. 100,000, 10 grand. That's your max position. 10 positions are your max positions. Pretty simple, guys. We like to keep it easy here and just keep trading. All right, weekly chart. Let's go to the daily. Daily DIA. Volume was 2.2 million. Again, volume picked up on this one. Same thing, though, guys. It's the same thing on all these. Above the MAs, chopping around, pushes it up, chopping around. Above the MAs. Let's see if we start going higher. If we do, 220, 225 to 230. Then ultimately 235.29 up into this area. But again, I want to see the push. I want to see more volume. I want to see how it reacts up here if it does get up there. And then we'll redetermine where this thing could possibly be going, guys. I mean, it could go sideways. It could go anywhere. If this thing pops up, here's your areas. We're going to be looking for a next pattern, see if it goes higher. If it pops up into this area and just turns around, rolls over, then hey, look out. All right, let's go to the daily chart. Those are your area. And then, you know what, if this thing starts to slide, you know, it's got to get below the MAs. It's got to get below, you know, this is the big trend line, just like the SPY. It's got to crack through there. So right until it starts to slip, then we'll talk about more of the support areas going in. And if these areas start to crack, then we know we could possibly go to the 200 MA. I think every chart out here, if you are extended from the 200 MA, that will be target price eventually down the road. Maybe sooner than later, or possibly looking at October, September. That's what we're kind of looking at right now, but we'll see what happens. So the DIA on the weekly, look at this thing. Goes up to the highs, comes in, cracks out, staying above this trend line. That's the one. You got the 20 MA on the weekly. Right now, we got no follow through. Remember what we talk about. We want to see a pattern, boom, and then another push the following week, some follow through. So let's wait for pattern. Let's see if this goes sideways, and then setting up for the 220, 225, 230 area. Again, next week we'll see where the close is, and then we'll go from there. But nothing wrong. Everything's good. Volume's a little bit better today, but very, very, very light overall. And let's just keep plugging away, guys. That's all we can do. And then the IYT, though. This is the one that's been catching my interest, guys. This one should be leading. This is always should be the leader, not the lagger. We did hold some areas here. We did fill a gap. If that was, We got the little pivot down in here, and it held it. So it came in. It was coming in pretty good. I thought we'd get to the 50 MA down here on the weekly, but it never made it down there. So let's see what happens next week. Now we're down. Let's see if we go sideways. We did get below the 20 MA, and no, we didn't confirm yet. So let's see if we confirm. We are below the 250 retrace and holding the 382 down here and the 50 MA. So you got some pivots down in this area. This was an old trend line. You know, I could pull it up and through. I mean, you sometime, I mean, you maybe, you know, I mean, that was an old one coming through, but that's where it's holding. This is where it bounced. So let's see if we actually go up. I mean, this could honestly lead us to some higher prices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days down. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we go sideways, we retrace, or we just kind of chop around in this lower range. If we do chop like this, that could be possibly setting up for lower prices. Let's go into the weekly. 368,002 today, guys. This isn't bad. Weekly volume wasn't bad either, but look at that, though, guys. We go right into double top. It held it. We even got some follow-through on the weekly. It's all right, let's see it. Let's see a little more follow-through. 175, 180, 185, and then boom. Look at that. Takes out 2.5 weeks of gains basically in 1 week. So this was a little bit weak on this close. Doesn't mean it's going to come right back and shoot right back up. Let's see if we come in. Let's see if we consolidate. Let's see if we pop right back up. Or maybe we start to slip. Big area again. That was that trend line. Remember the trend line I just pulled through? That's where it was pretty much holding. So let's keep an eye on this big trend line here. At one point, that was some pretty good, a real good area, I should say, that we came in, bounced up. You know, I mean, it was fighting to try to get above it. Then we got above it. Once was resistance, now is support coming down. We're still through price, so it's a little bit weaker than I would like, but you got to respect it, and that could be a possible area where it's going to hold, and today it did. So keep an eye on volume, guys, on the overall markets. SPY picked up a little bit. You got a little bit of selling in the morning, then it subsided, and you know how it goes. We just float up. At the end, we almost close at the high, so keep an eye on that as well. Earnings next week, guys. Stay buoyant. Keep your eyes open. Anything is possible on Wall Street. Again, thanks for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. God bless. See you on the charts.